Hey there, gamers. took me like an hour to beat this motherfucker. Jesus fuck.
Even more mass firings. I hate to make guesses, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think they're about to fire Ninja Theory, which is all the people that made Hellblade. I think they're all getting the boot. I think they're going to fire pretty much everybody that's not making the most peak, well, top selling stuff. And I don't just mean top subscription generators, I mean top selling stuff. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious, maybe I'm being sort of mean here, that obviously Game Pass has been a catastrophic failure. I've been talking about this for years, and people always get mad at the comment section, but you just cannot get enough subscribers to break even. The current game market, making games is so damn expensive. Making games costs hundreds of millions of dollars of research and development and just marketing and Super Bowl commercials. It is so expensive, you can't just get 10 million or 20 million people paying $10 a month. That just does not break even. Clearly, Microsoft has realized if we cannot get people to buy games, even if it is on PC or on PlayStation, we need people to buy games, not just subscribe, buy games. And at this point, they're just laying everybody off because a lot of these projects are still expensive, not generating any revenue, and not getting any upfront sales at all. Scroll down here. Let me see what some of the replies here are. Oh yeah, of course, a lot of memes about Xbox defenders. This is an Xbox and layoffs. Jason Schreier, whenever there's bad news in the gaming industry, oh god, not surprised. They just slap a logo on anything. This is the thing, is that right before this, they announced another. This is an Xbox. It's the Meta Quest. No hardware problems. You can put an Xbox logo and Xbox buttons wherever you want. This is the thing, is I do think that if you look at the numbers, they have cut almost 3,000 people just last year. This talk about, oh, we're trying to ensure the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it'll benefit the company and the broader labor market. Video games will be better when we buy everything. It just shows the fact that, honestly, this is just not going to work. I kind of admire the fact that Xbox had a good catchphrase. The best deal in gaming. I think the idea behind Game Pass, it was functional for a time. The idea of, hey, you get $70 games for $10. That sounds fantastic, right? But it just was never actually going to last. It was always going to be this problem where even if you're getting a good deal, even if it's good for the gamers, it's not going to pan out in the long run. This will be the fourth big layoff of Xbox in the last 18 months, following 3 major cuts and the closure of several studios. Xbox is dead. You can spin it, you can phrase it, you can try to put some flowers on it, but at this point, I do think that most of the Xbox defenders have given up and bought a PlayStation 5 Pro, but to the last 10 people that are still ride or die for Team Green, man, it's time to hang it up for others. I mean, you can game on PC. I think PC gaming is great. Obviously, I'm a massive advocate specifically for the Steam Deck. I'm a big Steam Deck simp, but Microsoft, it's poisonous, to say the least. But how do you feel about Xbox? How do you feel about PlayStation? How do you feel about video games? And have you ever owned an Xbox? I'm going to bet that 99% of the audience, the last time you've owned an Xbox is probably an Xbox 360. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Absolutely pathetic.
Now let's spend a moment taking a look at corporate taxes. They've remained much more stable during the 30-year period we covered above. Prior to 1986, corporations faced a complex tax structure with a top rate of 46%. In 1986, Washington reduced the top rate from 46% to 34%. and imposed three tax rate brackets with rates of 15, 25, and 34%. It changed in 1993, effectively adding the fourth bracket, and remained in place until the 2017 tax cuts eliminated all corporate tax brackets and replaced them with a flat corporate tax rate of 21%. So the top rate went from 34% to 21% for every business. Also in 2022, the corporate alternative minimum tax was put in place by the Biden administration to ensure that profitable corporations pay a minimum tax of 15% despite any tax credits or deductions that get used. In addition to the normal deductions that companies can take for expenses, salaries, etc., there are also tax credits for corporations. Credits include a research and development tax credit, one for farm machinery, oil exploration, clean energy investment, and many more. When Washington debates taxes, there's a whole lot of lobbying over what tax rate should be kept, increased, cut, or eliminated for corporations. Subscribe to the USA Facts YouTube channel and to our free newsletter. And please share this video with your family, your friends, your children, your co-workers. Spread the facts and data. The more we know, the stronger our democracy.
After a day on the lake, you just want to get home. Don't let a bad battery leave you stranded. Superstar batteries, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mind's Eye developer Build a Rocket Boy begins layoff process amid disastrous launch, studio sources say. This comes to us from IGN, and please tell me, is anybody surprised at all after the beyond disastrous launch that this game had? Update. Valve confirms redundancy process has begun. For those who aren't familiar with the HR verbiage, redundancy is another word for layoffs, or firings, or cutbacks, or whatever you want to say. Update. Build a Rocket Boy has confirmed IGN's report that the redundancy process has begun at the studio, issuing a statement that failed to say how many staff may be affected. I've heard from multiple sources that it has been over 100 people. A statement that they gave IGN is, we can confirm that we had to make the painful decision to notify our hardworking team of some internal changes at Build a Rocket Boy. While we are working to reassign roles for as many of those impacted by these changes as possible, sadly, we are initiating a formal consultation process that may result in redundancies. This decision has not been made lightly, and we are committed to handling this process with transparency, fairness, and respect for all employees. We will provide further details to the team over the coming weeks. So, this is, again, the same studio that I talked about, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? When they had two major executives leaving the studio the week before launch. And I was like, that's not a great sign. I almost feel like they know something is up. I also heard Hypnotic talking about this and saying that people were in his comment section getting mad at him. I didn't see anyone in my videos getting mad at me for it, but I believe him. I'm sure there, trust me, I've seen it before. I'm sure there are people out there getting mad at stuff. But no, these people left Build a Rocket Boy high up executive positions the week before launch. Which should tell you all you need to know at that point, that this was an incoming absolute disaster of epic proportions that nothing was going to be able to save. Because you think, if nothing else, if you're working at a company for 3+ years, 4+ years, getting a game to the finish line, you'd wait it out to get over and across that finish line and just see the reception before you leave, because you never know. Maybe it hits this niche audience, or this crazy viral meme comes out of your game and everyone needs to play it because of this random thing that just is just so off the wall, and it just takes off for that. And you're like, hey, it was a success. I wasn't expecting it to. They must have known this was such a disaster that they're like, no meme grades or anything's gonna save it.
Orladeyo Berotralstat is the first and only oral therapy designed specifically to prevent attacks of...
I kind of feel weird watching this and reacting to this entire thing, but we'll watch at least the beginning.
Hi everyone. I just want to start this video off by saying, parental advisory, this is not a video for children.
Yeah.
And a trigger warning, some of the things you're about to hear are going to be triggering for some people. I don't have approval from the board to make this video, but I have to say what needs to be said. I have to. This is a video I never planned on making, and it's completely devastating having to sit down and write this out. But a couple days ago, Michaela Rains passed away. This is the most hurtful and difficult time of my life, so please bear with me as I try to read this through the tears. Michaela was the most bright and shining example of what you could accomplish if you really set your mind to something.
So this girl basically killed herself as a result of a coordinated bullying attempt and effort on, on Reddit. And so, and not just Reddit, it's the internet in general. Let me go back. The Fox Rescue Girl? Well, yeah. Let me see if I can just go ahead and pull it up and show you guys. And I didn't want to go through the entire thing, but yeah.
And she was so sensitive to everything, which is a double-edged sword because on one hand, it allowed her endless empathy for those in her care, but it also means that she took everything negative to heart. And now I want to talk about how words, whether spoken in person or written online, can affect someone.
How do you stop cyberbullying? I think that websites at a certain point, like whenever you're effectively witch hunting someone, like Reddit has, and this is a big problem that Reddit has, and I think Reddit is probably one of the worst websites and worst offenders for this, is that Reddit has rules against witch hunting, right? And the problem is that there are subreddits that are created that are dedicated to witch hunting. And so how is it that you have subreddits that are dedicated to just posting negative content about a person constantly, right? And even lying about them too, right? And again, like if you didn't have this rule, then I wouldn't be saying this. But at the end of the day, why do you have this rule and you don't apply the rule?
For a few years, a group of people had been throwing dirt on Michaela's name and the rescue. Most of these are people she knew, and some of them are other animal sanctuaries. They consistently spread ridiculous claims and rumors, and being the sensitive human that she was, Michaela took it all to heart. And it hurt her. It hurt her a lot. But she pushed through. For years, she pushed through the pain of people trying to bring her down, and the mental challenges she faced, and she still rescued hundreds of animals and changed the lives of so many.
I think this is especially something that's like a magnet for hostile, vitriolic, negative people, is when they see a person who's doing something for, charity or for the benefit of other people. I think that and this is what I think the psychology of it is, this is my opinion, is that I think a lot of people out there are losers, and when they see somebody out there who's doing something that's productive, that's successful, that they're getting, positive feedback for, etc., and then that person now is getting that reception, well, guess what? Now, people are fucking, they're mad, because it's like, well, I'm not doing anything, so I have to figure out a reason why. Like, again, I think almost all internet hate and almost all internet bad behavior is something that actually comes from some sort of shortcoming that the person who's doing it has. So for whatever reason, this person feels like, oh, what makes them feel bad because they're useless or they're not doing anything. So they try to find ways that people who are doing something that's productive are not doing it in a completely authentic way, because then it makes them feel better about themselves. I think that's what happens.
But recently, more of the rude words, accusations, and name-calling came from some of those she considered close friends. I think all of this stems from jealousy and envy. But she felt as if the entire world had turned against her.
Yeah, and this is what happens. I mean, obviously, like, and there's a lot to unpack here and to discuss, right? I guess this is the woman who did it. She like saved, I guess, foxes, and so Save a Fox Rescue took her own life. She was seen on Save a Fox Snark attempting to defend herself from detractors. Here's how the subreddit's creator responded when she showed up. In 2019, this was commonplace for rescue to fighting enclosures. You let a fox lose a leg. A year ago, you just started fixing the fencing, and you think that makes you look good. Stop taking in new animals. Get your shit figured out. You could do well in your head, but so far if you're asked to do so. If you don't want to deal with the public, then maybe just stick to OnlyFans. And so, and this is really the main issue that a lot of these comics have, and a lot of these people have, is that this is is this one of the people right here? User by the name of Hazeline is confirmed to be one of the bullies who harassed them and is not backing down. I'm not backing down. Fuck off. Okay, so this is one of the people that's complaining about them. Let's go back. And also, by the way, very much the usual suspects. And so, what is this here? You act like I went to Michaela's house, sliced her open, when her feet out. All I did was put together the sources, did nothing wrong. I had no hand in bullying or any of the kind. Even if I did, you're no better than me for calling me slurs, telling me you should dox me, saying me instructions like I kill myself. You asked me if I'm proud of myself if I killed myself with the guides you sent me. Would you be proud of yourself? Get real. I don't even know about this. This is just somebody who's trying to, what do you call it? They're trying to damage control, right? I mean, very obviously. I wrote an informational post explaining why I found her figuring asshole community is not sane. People think she is not alone in being blamed for her suicide. I don't think that it's any one person's fault, and in my opinion, what it seems like to me, I think that whenever a person like this kills themselves, there's not really, in a lot of cases, one reason. There's usually a lot of reasons that come together that cause this to happen. So I don't think it's really fair to blame like one individual actor or one specific person. And I think in a lot of cases it's probably a confluence of events and a kind of combination of things that happen together. But from what the original statement was actually not even about Reddit comments. I'm sure Reddit comments were an agitating variable. Like, I'm not saying that they were not. But if you look at the actual comments that this guy made and his explanation of it, some of the people that she considered close friends. So for people to say that it's entirely because of Reddit that this happened, I don't think that's really a very fair analysis. Because if it was entirely because of Reddit, then like she's not friends with all of these people on Reddit. And so that's it. Do you think people sending her terrible messages should be charged? No. No, I don't. I mean, I know obviously people want me to say yes for whatever reason, but no, you can't charge people because they sent someone a mean message on the internet. That's crazy. And again, this is also another big issue, another big problem, is that a lot of subreddits exist. Of the subreddit is to damage a person's reputation, to collectively attack them, to destroy their reputation in one way or another, to character assassinate them, to spread lies about them. Like these are like the intent of this to undermine the person. And so like there's a very big difference between something that's done organically and then a community that exists on Reddit. And Reddit again has rules against this behavior. And I'm not talking about like every thread person should be an immediate fan of a subreddit, but when you have an entire subreddit that's dedicated to hating one group on one person, specifically or a group of people, but usually in this circumstance it's one person, you really need to ask yourself, like, is this really something that's positive for the website? And then also another really big issue, and this is a huge problem, is that Reddit has rules against this, but they just prefer not to enforce those rules. And I think that's really what the big issue is more than anything. It's that they have these rules, but then nothing happens. I think there's too much of a dots. Probably the business for family and lawyer if they have one. Well, I don't know about that. wasn't a bunch of anonymous Reddit comments, but they were comments made by people that were inside of her own sphere of influence. Because she said it was other animal sanctuaries, other people that were noteworthy in the space, and then it was our own close friends. So to blame all of this on random Redditors, I think people are really jumping the gun on this. Am I crazy for me saying that?
In today's fast-paced business world, effective communication is key to success. But with so many different channels and technologies available, managing customer communications can be a daunting task. That's where Venture Solutions comes in. At Venture Solutions, we are experts in customer communications management. Our team of experienced professionals has helped businesses of all sizes streamline their customer communications and improve their overall customer experience. Contact Venture Solutions today and discover how we can help you take your customer communications to the next level.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward. With pure power unleashed and future-forward technology, every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Instead of suing the person who sent the message, she thinks you were suing Reddit itself over its failure to enforce the U.S. and banish the snark subreddit. She should have logged off. The problem is that, and this is the issue, is that log off of the internet, I understand that, and I think that there's a lot of validity to that, but I think the validity of that has, that has a limit, and the limit is getting CPS called on you. So, for example, what happens with, let's say Ethan Klein, Ethan did log off of the internet. He wasn't, that wasn't what really set him over the edge. The problem is that these people try to weaponize real-life systems in order to attack people. So it's not like they're just going and, making mean comments or saying someone's stupid or, someone's bad on the internet. They're trying to intentionally harass them in real life. And so that's really what the problem is. The problem is how the fuck is cyberbullying real? Just close your eyes. You're right. But the issue is that closing your eyes isn't going to stop you from hearing the knock on the door of the CPS. And that's the issue.
I hate that move, bro.
Is that when you have internet communities that are getting together and they try to weaponize real-life consequences for a person that affect people's real lives, then I think you need to look at accountability. Then you need to look at people getting their logs pulled, people getting subpoenaed, and people getting charged. That is the big issue. I don't want to see somebody get put in jail for saying, oh, this girl is a fake bitch and she's not, actually rescuing anybody, she's killing them. I don't care about that. I don't think she even cares about that, right? I mean, maybe it's one friend, but that's not really the iceberg. It's not. Let's be honest. It's just simply not. And so swatting is a serious issue. Yeah, and this is what happens. It's hard to log off when you're main funding animal sanctuaries, online funding of videos. It's important to have an online footprint for her. I understand, but being on the internet is not going to be zero. If an accident is happening outside of the internet, that may be legal evidence. The problem is that, I don't know, I think that I kind of give a pretty balanced take on this, as best as I can, is that, I receive a lot of harassment on the internet. A lot of people try to harass me, people try to, kind of make that spill over into my real life, where they harass friends of mine, they might try to harass sponsors, harass people that I work with, and they do that. This is very common. But at the end of the day, that's just what happens. It's what happens. But the problem is that I think that whenever you have things that go beyond just simply being annoying and saying mean things, like the CPS stuff, I think that's probably the best example that I can use, Ethan Klein's CPS stuff. Communities that are using that kind of stuff and weaponizing it, I think they do need to be shut down. Because at that point, what they're doing is they are facilitating illegal activities. Like, if you really distill this down to, like, are you weaponizing a government program in order to have this government program be the executioner of your internet? If the answer to that is yes, then you have a big problem. You have a huge problem. It's the same as swatting. Yes, exactly. It's like, it's soft swatting, basically. But yeah. It's also a problem. Harassment at any point should be punished, even if it doesn't have a real life consequence, as harassment is illegal in every context. Well, it's not. Like, if you're standing at McDonald's and you call someone a fat bitch, you're not going to go to jail for that, and nobody's going to put you in jail for that, and I don't want to live in a world where you go to jail for that. That's retarded. It's a massive overstepping. It's a waste of everybody's money. Like, what are you talking about? I think that whenever a situation like this happens, people get emotional, and because they're emotional, they want to impose rules and laws and things like this to completely limit everybody's expression because they're worried about something like this happening. The fact is that people that do this kind of stuff are subversive. They have intent, and whatever rule that you make, these people will try to undermine that rule or work around it in order to not get caught. So the way that you solve this problem is not actually by making a rule, it's by existing rules and taking the intent that these people have seriously and treating them accordingly. And so that's when you have to deal with them. If you call everyone calling that bitch, it's harassment, so okay? Yeah, I mean, I think at a certain point it does kind of go a little bit too far. And this is when we're all right there, like, it's, yeah, she goes from suicide. Women and bullying regular things, it's exactly how you use that. That's more of my stuff too. But, yeah, Lisa Reddit, can't turn friends and shelters against her. And this is also another big issue. A lot of people on the internet are extremely, you guys have no idea, so susceptible to internet narratives. Like, the moment that they hear anything or they do anything that's, like, slightly off, you know, like, and they're not getting approval on the internet, they just get instantly fucking terrified, and they'll do whatever they need to do in order to make people and commenters on the internet like them. Which, by the way, will never make people like them. Reminds me of explaining swatting to non-people. I mean, I think a lot of people know kind of what that is, even if they're not in the U.S. But pandering, liberals are crazy. They see the
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Russian soldiers have started.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. Like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. In every Chevy truck, dependability comes standard.
Welcome to Halifax. Last stop on the Underground Railroad. Everybody step off at the old story. Boy, do I got one for you. Story about a young man who boy Jesus.
George Washington.
How did you get that? Since I know what his name. And to be looking for me from here on out. We must leave. To understand. It is time to fly.
There's just too much going on right there, man. Fuck.
They started coming on the series looking for a black man. George Washington Black.
Most famous. How would you look at the world? How do you pass this by?
Your marriage to me is a life to us finding a young woman who ran right away to find you.
That can't break enough.
He didn't believe the job is done.
Surrender to no one.
The only way black folk can climb this mountain is
can't believe I'm saying this, but Russian soldiers have started eating each other and resorting to cannibalism. And this is actually a really serious moment, and it shows a lot about the state of the Russian army right now. And that's what I want to talk about today. There hasn't been cannibalism in war in Europe since Leningrad, back in the 1940s, World War II. And that was a desperate situation. If we know about Leningrad and what happened there, I won't give you a history lesson, but it was dramatic, and it basically shows a huge breakdown in discipline, in morale, in psyche, in logistics, in everything in the Russian army. And it shows it as complete chaos. And the main reason this is happening is because Russia and their elite forces were wiped out in 2022 and 2023 when they tried to take Kherson, which is about an hour drive this way, and just in the Black Sea now, and they tried to take Kyiv. And what we're left with are people that are pulled out of prisons, people that are pulled out of asylum centres, and they're PTSD out of their eyeballs, and they don't have any proper training, they don't have access to food. And this is now getting completely out of control on the Russian side. I've seen videos on the program showing Russian military personnel digging holes and throwing their comrades in those holes, doing torture on each other, killing their commanders for basically no reason.
No, come on.
And it's because the Russian army is totally doing showing towns all across Russia where there are no men left because they've all been pulled out of their homes and they've been put into but it signals a much bigger political disarray in the Russian army. Also showed after the press conference that we're in the pockets of bodies, of Russian bodies, in a body exchange. This was supposed to be where lots of Ukrainian soldiers and defenders were killed. Their bodies were supposed to be returned to Ukraine. And those bodies were littered with Russian soldiers because Russia doesn't really have the bar to keep alive. And it shows a massive deterioration. And this also signals 2 years since Bakhmut was taken. I cannot believe it's been 2 years. I was in the outskirts of Bakhmut in 2023 when I was with John Sweeney and Paul Conroy. We were between Châteaubriand and Bakhmut, and the city still hadn't quite fallen. But that's also the last city that Russia has taken in the last 2 years. This is also 2 weeks after Russians have now lost 1 million personnel, a million personnel, and they haven't taken the city since Bakhmut. It's been 2 years. It's still fighting. And that shows a complete disorder and chaos on the Russian side, and that's why this is really significant. But what it also means is Russia is now waging a new type of war on Ukraine. That's these drone attacks. I've been posting videos here in the West from the last week of devastating attacks on civilian infrastructure. When I used to live in Odessa, which is when I started this YouTube channel about 9 months ago, I would see drone attacks in my apartment, but they were not as frequent as this, and they were in residential buildings. Now, quickly goes directly into residential buildings. So 17 days ago. The Russians put about 500 drones into Kyiv and devastated the city. And here, I have never seen anything like this. Drones flying past the windows, flying past buildings every single day. And everything in the church was Russia. What's going on now is Russia.
When you're shopping for a new truck, you want the best selection, the best trading value, and the best deal. The answer is Jim Butler CDJR in Lynn, Missouri. Shop for your new brand truck and get served up the best at JimButlerCDJR.com. Join us during the employee pricing necessary.
However, she is certainly confined somewhere. Does that mean I'm really in outer space right now?
Great reset.